Hello and welcome. My name is LaughingStock, and you are watching LaughingStock's ROFL Game of the Week. This is episode number 3. Now, I want to again shout out to HotDota.com, who have picked me up as a partner, which means you will be watching all of my casts, my pubcast of the week, and my ROFL Game of the Week on their website. I'll be posting it directly to their website, which is hotdota.com. Go check it out, create a profile, all that jazz. It's a great website to just talk about general Dota knowledge. Also, Hot Dota TV on YouTube is where these videos will be uploaded onto YouTube. So subscribe to their YouTube page, subscribe to mine. Also follow me on Twitter. It's at LaughingStock_. And then also on Facebook, go ahead and like me. It's facebook.com/LaughingStockGaming, all one word. Now, the ROFL Game of the Week, the whole idea behind the ROFL Game of the Week is that I've played, I'm not a pro, and I don't claim to be a pro, but I've played in some really funny games that were completely one-sided, kind of ridiculous, just things went really wrong or really right, one way or the other, and so I thought, why not cast those? For right now, I'm casting games that I have played because I know that they're kind of ridiculous. But what I want to do is I want to cast games that you guys have played, you the viewers at home. So from now on, what I want you to do is if you have a game that you think qualifies as the ROFL Game of the Week, go ahead and type it in the comments below or message it to me on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, one of the twos. And what I need is your Steam name as well as the game ID of the game that you played that you think qualifies as the ROFL Game of the Week. So then in the future I will cast your games instead of just my games. Now let's go ahead and look through the teams. We have Phoenix playing Ursa, and he is going a jungle Ursa build. We have Crystal Maiden being played by Ayako. Slark up top is being played by Mrs. Dr. Professor Fluttershy. Interesting. Too many prefixes. Myself, LaughingStock, is on the Pudge, the sexy Pudge with the messed up hair and the gross mustache. And Invoker, and oh man, Ursa almost going down to these wolves. Those wolves are a beast, though. And then Invoker being played by Chitin, Saitan, Sitten. I still have no idea how to pronounce that name. On the Dire team, we have El Shadow being, going on in the Medusa. And now, Earthshaker in mid is in danger. Right now, he's going to get taken out by the Invoker. Haste, always powerful, especially in the early game. He does pick up the first blood against the Earthshaker, which is huge. And now he might have to go all the way back to base to heal, not sure. But let's take a look at the rest of the team. Retrospecs is playing Enchantress and is jungling. So far, not a ton of good creeps. Either that or his good creeps have died somehow. We have Demon playing the Lich. Razor being played by Raz, so I find it a little bit amusing that Raz is playing Razor since he only needs 2 more letters to complete it. And Innixer is on the Earthshaker, and Enchantress almost dying in the jungle, so the two jungles are having a bit of a hard time. The hook goes out on Razor, the rod is down, the Frost Imprisonment, the Nova, I don't even know what the names of them are. Oh my god, it's Frostbite and Crystal Nova. Okay, so I was almost there. Crystal Nova and Frostbite, but this is a really nasty combo. Now, a lot of people don't like seeing a Pudge not in lane, and I can't blame them, or not in mid, because Pudge can be a very strong mid, but I also feel that Pudge is an underutilized side lane hero in a dual lane, especially if you get a combination with a Pudge and, say, Crystal Maiden, or a Pudge in a really intense slow, because then you hook, you slow, and then the slow from the Crystal Nova as well as the slow from the rod is going to do a butt ton of damage. Now it looks like I am looking for another hook, and there's a hook, and it's going to hit Lich this time. The rod, there's the Frostbite, and Lich is going to go down. Now Pudge is going to run. He might go down to this Raz, and I just committed suicide. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this game. I'd rather be dead. I even type out goodbye cruel world. Now if we take a look at Last Instant Deny, right now Razor, even though he has died once, is in front. Really the whole Dire team is kind of demolishing the Radiant team in terms of farm. I mean, Ursa's doing good in the jungle site and Pudge doing alright, but Slark's actually beating Medusa up top, which is kind of interesting. If Phoenix, of course, doing a good job jungling with the Ursa, although not terribly difficult to jungle with Ursa, but it is important that you succeed with it. So let's talk. I mean, future team comp you gotta think is in favor of the Dire, or in the Radiant. Sorry, the Dire do have Medusa, and Medusa has proven to be one of the hardest to kill heroes in the late game. But we're talking very, very late game. We're talking like 50+ minutes into the game or more. So if the Dire can get the game to that point, you know, you would think that Medusa can come out strong. But at the same time, you have this Ursa. And Ursa is a beast, and they don't have a whole lot of CC on this Ursa, or at least they don't appear to have. The hook misses everybody in particular, and Ursa actually kind of close to dying. You better be careful there, buddy. Would hate to see you go. Wow, he really gets really close to dying. So, I mean, the Ursa and the Slark kind of counterbalance the Medusa, in my opinion, but Medusa gets very tanky, can deal a lot of damage easily. They also have good AoE with the Earthshaker, Lich, Razor. I mean, those three abilities are going to put out a lot of AoE damage on the Radiant team. Now, the Dire, on the other hand, I mean, Invoker's got some AoE. You know, he can do the Sonic Blast and the Meteor. Also, the Sunstrike has a small AoE. Pudge has got his Rot. Crystal Maiden, of course, you know, her Freezing Field is just brutal in an AoE, and she does have the Crystal Nova. But I mean, as a whole, this Radiant team, more of a single focus team. So I think team fight capability definitely in favor of the Dire. They just have more AoE spells, more spells that kind of combo off of each other and whatnot. But they have to execute, and that's really, you know, the name of the ROFL cast is always going to be execution. One team is going to, the other team, not so much. And El Shadow, speaking of execution, is getting massively outfarmed by Slark. Slark 11-7 versus an 8-4. So kind of nothing going right now. Now I am hiding in the trees looking for a hook, and the courier just came to me. I think it brought me the finishing recipe to the soul ring. So now I have mana regen. Hook goes out and hits a creep. That's right, you show the creep who's boss. I actually laugh when I hook creeps. I think it's one of the funniest things, because it's like the other team thinks you're a bad Pudge. So then, I mean, I may very well be a bad Pudge. I'm not claiming to be the best Pudge, but you know, sometimes I've used that to my advantage, where I've hooked a creep knowing that they'll, if they're running around a lot in lane, I'll hook a creep, and then they'll think I'm bad, and so they won't run around as much. Now Medusa is pulling the lane, but also taking a lot of damage, so Medusa better be careful. Now we got some action going down on bot as I get hit by the Frost Blast. And Ursa getting dangerously close in the jungle. Now, oh no, Medusa wasn't even pulling the lane, he was just straight up attacking. Actually, a good pull was done right here, as you can see the creeps now leaving that pull by this Enchantress. And Ursa, oh no! Razor goes into the jungle and picks off the Ursa. Just like I mean, but now here comes myself as Pudge, throws the hook and it hits Razor. Razor's in some serious trouble. There's a Rot. Crystal Nova goes down, the Frostbite goes on Lich. Pudge gets the kill on Razor and then commits suicide before anyone else can get the last hit. Sunstrike is going to go out on Demon, but it misses. Nice try. Haste Rune, used by this Earthshaker. He's going to go bot. Slark, in the meantime, picks up a kill top on Medusa. I apologize. I saw the Haste Rune and got excited, and here comes Earthshaker. He's going to try and come in. There's a Frost Blast. There's a Fissure. 2 more auto attacks should kill her. And it does. Lich, with the final hit, gets the kill. So far, the ROFL cast, maybe not so evident. 5-4. I mean, you look at the kills, and you got 3 and 2 Pudge, Slark, and Invoker are both 1-0. Nobody on the Dire team has 1 kill and no deaths. In fact, only one person on the Dire team has no deaths, and that's Enchantress right now. Pudge throws out the hook, and it hits Demon the Rod and a Dismember, and that's going to be all she wrote for Lich. So Pudge is level 6 now, and you just can't hang around a Pudge when he's level 6. That Dismember with the Rod is just going to be brutal damage for you. And Invoker throws out a Sunstrike, and it does hit Razor and takes Razor down to about 250 health. So he's going to go back and eat a tree with the Tango. So he's in some serious danger. He might not want to stay bot lane with the Pudge. That's all I got to say. My Pudge is too strong, if you know what I mean. Meanwhile, Invoker just kind of trying to get some farm up. Earthshaker content to stay back because I think he knows at this point that Invoker can put out some serious damage to him. I mean, he can put out some good damage. Also, I do want to point out no Aftershock. Interesting choice. What no Aftershock means is that Enchant Totem actually isn't going to stun anybody. Because Enchant Totem only adds a bonus attack damage to your ability. Now, Medusa is going to come in and throw her snake out on Slark. Slark's going to try and chase Medusa down. Let's see what happens. He sees her, but is he going to dive the tower for it? He just might. Now he wisely backs up. And now Pudge is trying to catch this Razor. There's the Crystal Nova, or the Frostbite. There's the hook from Pudge, and it hits him. The rod finishes off the kill. And that's why one of my favorite combos in the game is Crystal Maiden and Pudge. If Crystal Maiden gets a Frostbite on someone before Pudge throws a hook, it's almost a guaranteed kill. Now the real Earthshaker is down bot and is looking for a gank on bot. And there's a hook! They had a ward up, they saw him there, the Dismember, the rod, and here comes the Sunstrike. But Pudge gets the last hit. Crystal Nova does hit, there's a Frostbite. Pudge does not have enough mana for the hook, so he's going to run around. Lich is trying to run from the Crystal Maiden. Lich is going to go back into the trees and is going to teleport. No one sees him. There's the Crystal Maiden, but not soon enough. Lich wisely teleports out. So they're pretty much feeding this Pudge at this point. Pudge, myself, is 6-2. Slark is 1-0, still chilling up top. And I mean, if we look at last hits, Ursa and Slark have now overtaken Razor in farm. Only the Enchantress has more farm. Now Slark sees the Enchantress. He's going to try and go for a kill. He better be careful. There's a pounce. It keeps her in place.
Where are you going?
He's trying to auto-attack her down, uses his ultimate so they can't see him. He might want to get out of there, though. There's a Sunstrike, and it's going to... Oh, man. Sunstrike left it to one auto-attack for the Slark to finish off the Enchantress. Now, Slark is running. Earthshaker has used a haste rune. Slark better be careful. He's going to pounce out. The hook was an attempt to save his life, and it missed. Now, here's Earthshaker. He does have a haste rune, but Slark is incredibly fast when you can't see him. In fact, 461 movement speed to 522. The odds of you catching that are slim to none. So Slark gets away with it after picking up a kill on Enchantress. One of the things that you're noticing on this Radiant team is there's a lot of setups for Sight and Sunstrike. If Pudge dismembers, if Slark lands a pounce, if Crystal Maiden lands a Frostbite on somebody, all of those are really maneuvers that set up his Sunstrike. Now Phoenix is in the process. He did finish his Vlads and is going for Rosh. I don't know if the Earthshaker knows it. No, the Earthshaker doesn't, and he's actually going to go bot. Well, now they know that the Rosh has been killed. They have to know. He doesn't pick up the rune. I think he was just actually looking for the rune. Now there's the double damage rune. Here comes Pudge. There's the hook. It hits Earthshaker. Where's the Dismember? There it is with the Rot, the Sunstrike. The perfect setup. And Invoker kills the Earthshaker with that Sunstrike. So again, Dismember is just an easy hit for that Sunstrike. So you're already beginning to see the makings of what is the ROFL cast. It's 10-4 with Pudge. Well, you can't hit all the cooks, and apparently you can't land the Frost Snap on everyone correctly. Or the Cold Snap. Hit a creep with it. So Pudge missed the hook. Sight and lands it on the creep. You know, things just go wrong. There's a hook, and it just barely misses. Just out of range. It's always my excuse if I miss my hooks. It's like, oh, it would have hit if the hook was longer. Well, then maybe you should learn the hook. So, I mean, if we're looking at items like we mentioned earlier, we do have the Vlads and some boots up on Ursa, and he did kill Rosh, so he now has the Aegis as well. Crystal Maiden has some Tranquil Boots and some wards and has the makings of what appears to be a Force Staff. Sorry, Pudge did hook and dismember Lich. Lich is now dead, but now he's hidden from the rest of his team by that vision, so he's going to run. Earthshaker might... Nope, Earthshaker chooses not to follow. Dang me for talking about items and missing this stuff. Already have a Maelstrom and an Orb of Venom up on this Slark. So Slark is getting some really good farm up top. Pudge has got Tranquil Boots and a Soul Ring, so he's got some really good mana regen. He's also got an Urn of the Shadows recipe purchase, so he's working towards an Urn of the Shadows, which I imagine would happen sooner rather than later. And Citan does have a Force Staff in the stash, just waiting for the courier. Medusa, Ring of Health boots, not a whole lot going. Most Medusas at some point go for a Lincoln Sphere. We'll see if that is indeed the case for her. Enchantress has an Urn in Shadows and some treads, and the hook misses. Nice try. Lich, Tranquil boots, some branches, some trees. No big deal. Razor, power treads and a Ring of Aquila. Not exactly the best start to a game for him. And Earthshaker, boots, bottle, just the bare necessities really for him in the lane right now. So, I mean, if we look at the gold per minute, the entire Radiant team is in front of the entire Dire team. The Fissure hits Citan and Iyako, but not LaughingStock. There's the hook, and it does hit the Earthshaker. The Dismember, now notice. Remember what I said about that whole, you know, not getting the Aftershock? The Aftershock would have stunned him. Now, Invoker is going to go down, and Razor's going to pick up the last hit with, of course, Lich's ultimate doing most of the damage. Iyako is going to get away with just the skin of her teeth. Pudge sitting up here on the hill wants to get a kill, but I'm pretty sure they saw the thing. So, again, I made that comment about Earthshaker not having the Aftershock. Well, Earthshaker, after getting Hook and the Dismember getting put on him, he tried to use Enchant Totem to stun Pudge to get away, but since he doesn't have the Aftershock, Enchant Totem was completely useless. And I remember when I was playing this, I thought to myself, man, I could have swore he used Enchant Totem. Why didn't I get stunned? But obviously what I didn't know and what I couldn't have known is that he didn't have a point into Aftershock. So, you guys, if you're playing Earthshaker, you got to put at least 1 point into Aftershock. Pretty much, I always put it in at level 2, and then level 3, level up Enchant Totem, and then just max out Fissure from there. Really, if you have to choose between Enchant Totem, now Ursa is getting his attack damage drained, only 21 damage though, so he's still kind of a brutal bear. Slark is going in on this Enchantress. Here's the auto attacks. He's trying to get him down. The Dark Pact did a nice amount of damage to him. There's a Dark Pact again, and that should be enough to get the... No, there it is. That was enough to get the kill. Now, Razor finds him, and so does Lich, and he's going to go down to Razor. Not the guy that you want to feel. The middle tower for the Dire is being attacked and might go down. So, Slark picks up a kill, but then feeds Razor. Fissure goes out on Phoenix. The hook misses, because I'm a scrub. But Frostbite does hit Earthshaker. Pudge comes in with the Rot, the Sunstrike, and again, Enchant Totem does nothing, and Invoker picks up the kill with the Sunstrike and the auto attack. So let this Earthshaker be a lesson to you guys. You have to level up this Aftershock. You can't just sit here and say, oh, well, it's not that important. It's wildly important. I mean, it adds a stun to that thing, and I'm having some difficulties right now, but it seems to have momentarily resolved itself, and by momentarily resolved, I mean getting worse. I'm going to check on something really quick. The tower does get denied by Razor, so Razor picking up a few kills, gets a tower deny, is doing an overall good job, and pardon the delay as I check some stuff out really quickly. Well, maybe it's resolved itself now. I hope so. My computer does seem to be having some issues recently, so I apologize. Like I said in my pubcast, if you watch that, I am going to be getting a new computer in the relatively near future. Now, Ursa has a haster in the hook. Misses. Fail. I'll be harsh on myself when I miss hooks. I hate when I miss hooks. It makes me feel like I'm less of a man. Although with that much meat on you, like, I mean, look at this dude. With that much meat on you, how can you think that you're less of a man? I mean, you're such a man that your smell kills people. The smell alone. Top tower is being taken down. Phoenix is trying to take out the creep wave before they can get to the tower to defend against it. Now him and Fluttershy are going to go ahead and finish the tower. Ursa gets the last hit. Oh, sorry, that's Mr. Professor Dr. Fluttershy. I pick up a kill on the Enchantress, and now in some serious trouble. There's no way you're surviving through this. Earthshaker picks up the last hit with the Fissure. Sometimes it's just not worth it to get a kill. And it was very rude. I was right when I said that. Rude. This team trying to win the game, you can't do that. I mean, the stat of the game, though, as you're looking at it, is this gold per minute difference. I mean, The only person that's even above any of the Radiant heroes right now is Raz on the Razor, but only by like 10 gold per minute over a Crystal Maiden. That shows you kind of how desperate things are right now. He is 3-3-1, but I mean, we look at last hits, he's down to 39 right now. Not a good number at this point in the game. You know, obviously the kills have been hurting him a lot, but the Medusa, remember I said Medusa can carry late game. In order for that to happen, she needs good farm early game and to not die very much. Well, she's only got 20 creep kills right now. We're almost 20 minutes into the game, and she has died once with no kills. So, just not getting a lot of farm right now. So things aren't boding very well for the Dire. Ursa does finish the phase boost with the vitality booster. Crystal Maiden has finished the 4 staff. Slark has 1,200 gold. I'm assuming we're gonna see him go for a Mjolnir. How do you pronounce that, guys? Mjolnir? Whatever that item is, he's going for that more than likely. Pudge does pick up a cloak. So he has a ring of health and a cloak, which means Hood of Defiance on the Pudge. And Invoker horse staff. Yes, he has a horse staff. He will turn you into a horse. Pudge with the hook and the dismember and the rod, and Earthshaker easily goes down. Now Razor gonna chase, but I don't think there's much happening. They don't have a way now I will say he finally put a point into the aftershock, so maybe he heard me saying this to him, even though this is a replay. Maybe he heard me. Like what I'm saying right now is just getting to him in the past. So I did put a point into the aftershock. Now Medusa did finish the Perseverance, but that's it. I mean, she's bare bones right now. Still just Earner Shadows and Treads on Enchantress. She has died a few times since things have happened. Lich, Tranquil Boots has a point booster. My guess is trying to build into an Aghanim Scepter, but you know, that's a long ways out at this rate. Razor does pick up the Mithril Hammer. My guess is going for a BKB. Not a bad pickup on him. And of course, Nixer, Bottle and Arcane Boots. My guess is at some point going for a Blink Dagger if it can get to that point, but you just never know. I will say one thing that the Dire are doing a very good job of, and that's ward coverage. They've always had a few wards up at any point in the game, and the Radiant have 1 ward up right now, or actually 2 wards up. So good ward coverage by both teams. That is not why this is the ROFL cast of the week, although there was one game I casted where the MVP, one of the MVPs of the game was the lack of wards. I know it's a strange thing to give the MVP to, but it was just like, it was so evident that the team couldn't see the ganks coming that I really had no other choice. Phoenix does have a Staff of Wizardry with the Vitality Booster. That means a possibility of Rod of Atos coming out on him. Interesting item choice. It's not a bad item, it's just you don't see it picked up very much. Pudge throws a hook and just misses. Now I want to say that when I saw the creep right here, I for whatever reason assumed that they were over here. I kind of felt that they were rotating that way, so I threw the hook. I didn't realize how close I had actually come. I assumed it had been a wild miss, but in fact almost landed it. So I'm pretty proud of myself on that one, coming within inches on a completely blind hook. So now we're kind of forcing the issue in mid, although we are Slarkless as he's going back to base. He does have the Hyperstone, so he's very close to finishing off. Oh, of course, you know, Slark's regen is so ridiculous. When he's invisible and not attacking, it's ridiculous. Lich gets a death at the hands of Crystal Maiden, but Enchantress picks off the Pudge, so I'm guessing Pudge hooked Lich. Now Phoenix trying to be aggressive, trying to get in on the action, so they engage without Slark, come out with a 1-for-1 exchange. Fissure clears the creep wave. Razor wastes his mana. So right now the Dire are playing very passively. They're very scared, and I mean, I don't blame them when, you know, your Pudge is 10-4 and Slark 3-1, and he's getting actually really good farm. Where did Slark go? There's Slark, and he does have the Mjolnir finished. So he's going to run around and wreak some havoc. Now Enchantress spots himself a wild Ursa, and Slark is going to chase. Now is Slark going to be crazy? Nope, Slark decides to sit back. I thought for a second we were going to see Fluttershy just go off the handle and try to finish off that Enchantress before anyone else showed up. So I mean, right now, if you look at the Dire team, Nixer is in mid trying to get farm, but the rest of their team is just kind of sitting around, not really doing much. They really need to work on that, because the less farm they're getting, the less effective they're going to be late game. I do hear... Oh, Slark did engage on Razor. I wasn't even paying attention. My apologies. And Enchantress used a Sunstrike to help Slark get the kill, although not really like Slark. There's a hook on Earthshaker, Dismember, and Rot, and Earthshaker is going to go down to Pudge very easily. The Mystic Snake does hit the rest of the Radiant team, and they're going to push this top tower now. So, you know, good wards. I mean, this ward, pretty clear vision now that, again, the Dire have really good wards this game. So they're putting up some great wards. They're just not utilizing them. I mean, they have 4 wards up right now. Pudge hooks the... oh, man. Run, Pudge. Run! He hooks a Medusa out of the base, but now is in some serious trouble, taking a ton of auto attacks. A Sunstrike from Invoker is going to hit everybody involved. Demon trying to run away. Pudge hooks the Medusa for the kill. And now Enchantress trying to run for his life, but cannot get away. Slark picks up a double kill on both Enchantress and Lich, and now make it a triple kill as Razor comes in. And the theme of that team fight is the ants come marching one by one. Hurrah! Hurrah! I mean, seriously, like, they were chasing the Pudge at first, but again, I want to point out, hey, look, we have a ward here. Hey, look, we have a ward here. They knew the rest of the team was coming. So maybe not the maybe it's not a lack of wards that's causing the Dire to make this a ROFL cast, but just their inability to use them correctly. I mean, if you see the rest of the Radiant team rotating over, then why are you still chasing? That's what led to that. I mean, and then they continued to go one at a time. Now, there were 3 of them there. Pudge did kind of pick off the Medusa out of nowhere with the hook, and Phoenix is going to try to solo Ra. She might be in a little bit of danger, and Demon does get picked off by Invoker. Combination of Invoker and Crystal Maiden. Again, like I said, that Frostbite Sunstrike combo is just too easy to land. Sighton's got to be loving this game as Invoker, because he's got, like I said earlier, so many setups for that Sunstrike. Now Ursa, ooh, Ursa better hurry. Don't get killed, don't get stun locked. He does get the final hit. And I hooked Ursa. Now, I was kind of hoping, to be honest, when I hooked him, that I would hook him before he picked up the Aegis, just to be a dick. But, you know, he got it first, so congratulations. Sighton appears to be going for an Aghanim Scepter as well. The Scepter reduces the cooldown to 2 seconds, which is going to make it very nice for him to rotate, yes? Pudge does pick up a 4-staff himself, still hasn't finished up the Hood of Defiance, but you know, the way this game is going, who really needs a Hood of Defiance? We have the Shadow Amulet picked up on Ursa, obviously means he's going for the Shadow Blade, pretty much the only thing it builds into. Slark at this point has a Basher, maybe we'll see an Abyssal Blade, maybe he's just kind of doing casual Basher for now. Ayako has continued to be the main person on the wards. Now Pudge wants some action. He's going to 4-staff his way in there. The hook does hit Enchantress. Where's the Dismember? He doesn't land it, but oh man, the Rod of Atos. So it's as if they didn't have enough setups for Invoker's Sunstrike already. Phoenix's Rod of Atos slowed him to the point where he could not avoid it, even if he had wanted to. I think maybe that time he's like, screw it. I'll just take the Sunstrike. I'm tired. Enchantress does buy back into the game, not 100% sure why, but yeah, to each their own. Razor tries to say bad game finish. Pudge! 4-staff and hook. The hook is dodged. There's a Rod of Atos. Look at the slow. The pounce from Fluttershy. Nixer is going to go down. Ursa does pick up the final hit. Rod of Atos too strong. What is the slow on that one? Rod of Atos cripple slow 60% for 4 seconds. That is brutal. I mean, imagine if Pudge is walking on him with Rot, where the slow is an additional 20%, and then of course Ursa's Thunderclap, or Earthshock, sorry, is going to slow him for 55%. I mean, you're not even going to be moving when you get slowed that much. Or Crystal Maiden, you know, if she uses her Crystal Nova, that slow is 30%. So the Rod of Atos is kind of a dangerous item comboed up with the rest of the team. So glad to see it picked up. I haven't always seen it picked up. Now, Demon, what are you doing, buddy? Maybe he's just trying to hide. He did use Smoke of Deceit, so I believe he's just trying to hide, wants the game to end, and of course Radiant aren't ending now. At this point, I think we were going to end relatively soon. We were just waiting for something. Now, oh no, there's a courier. What is... Okay, so if you're going to hide, just for future reference to people in general, if you're going to hide from the enemy team, probably not the best idea to send the courier in a path that is seen by the enemy team. Because now the enemy team knows that the courier is there, and now the courier is just visibly picked up by the tower as well. So Demon is trying to run through the trees and hide behind the trees, but they all know you're there. The hook misses, but I mean, there you go. Fluttershy finds her. Demon is easily going to go down. Slark picks up the kill, gets a mega kill that way. So it's now 27 to 8. I mean, definitely ROFL game material. And again, I go back to this kill. They had the ward up right there. They had a ward up right here, and so they clearly saw the rotation. I mean, how could you not have seen the rotation from the Radiant team over to help that Pudge out? But they still kept following. And Pudge, when he's... I mean, when a Pudge has a ton of kills, you're not going to be able to kill him very easily. Now, the ward does go down right there, and the Radiant are pushing bot, so maybe they'll finish this game. Maybe the Dire won't have to suffer anymore. But yeah, just some really poor decisions made by the Dire this game. I mean, you can't, you know, the Earthshaker made a really bad move by not getting a single point into Aftershock until level 9. Radiant, meanwhile, are just taking the bot tower uncontested and are going to go for the mid-racks now. I imagine that the Dire are just going to kind of chill in the fountain, not leave, or chill in the well, whatever. Maybe just not leave, and two heroes from the Dire do teleport top to get away from the action because they're assuming that the Radiant are going to go fountain diving, which is a strong possibility. Pudge does force staff up, does throw the hook, does hit the Enchantress, Dismember Rot, Invoker with the auto attacks does finish off the kill, and now they are appearing to just kind of chill. Pudge throws a hook, hits a Medusa, Medusa's out. Oh no, Ayako! Ayako uses the freezing field, but she better run before the tower... Oh, there we go. I thought for sure Ayako was going to go down, but... I'm actually not sure why the tower stopped attacking, to be honest. It happened too quickly. But this game is effectively over. Now, Pudge wants some more action. There's an Enchantress. Enchantress, what are you doing? Dismember Rod after the hook Invoker with the Sunstrike. She just stood there. She... I'm sorry, but if there's a Pudge, you can't stand still. But Pudge does get the kill. There's the Medusa. The hook hits Medusa. Rod is slowing her down, and Fluttershy. Of course, that dark pack damage doing some serious work. Earthshaker is back up. Is there going to be a hook on the Earthshaker? Doom doom. Doom doom. Doom 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 doom. Force Staff. Invoker finishes off the Enchantress after she got Force Staffed out. Earthshaker gets Force Staffed out. Dismember in the Rotten. Invoker gets another kill. That's a double kill with the Wicked 6 streak. LaughingStock's like, I'll tank yo towers. They mean nothing to me. And the game is over. So what I do, just like in the pubcast, the weekly pubcast, I have an MVP. I have my RGVP, which is ROFL Game MVP, or ROFL Game most RGMVP, RMVP. I don't know what I'm calling it, but it's the ROFL MVP. How about that? And this week's ROFL MVP goes to... Well, first of all, it goes to not using the wards, because there were plenty of them, but it really goes to the Earthshaker for me this game. He had some decent fissures as a whole, but just kind of failed mid lane against the Invoker. And also, how do you not pick up Aftershock? How do you not get it? So, thank you guys for watching. Again, this has been ROFL Game of the Week, episode number 3. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's at @LaughingStock_. Like me on Facebook at facebook.com/LaughingStockGaming. And also subscribe to Hot Dota TV on YouTube. Go to hotdota.com, register, and chat away with the rest of us about Dota. And all that jazz. Thank you guys for watching. And again, if you have a ROFL game that you want on YouTube, put it in the comments below. Send me a message on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that with the game ID of the game that you think qualifies as a ROFL game of the week. So I am LaughingStock. You've watched the ROFL game of the week. Have a great day.